So what has a fancy wine bar in central London got to do with one of the biggest political scandals in US history? Investigators have been looking into whether Donald Trump's campaign team had worked with Russia to secure his 2016 election victory. And it all started over a couple of drinks right here. Robert Mueller, a former director of the FBI, is investigating people close to the US president. The drama is playing out in Washington, but the whole Trump-Russia probe was reportedly sparked by one single meeting here at the Kensington wine rooms. So what happened? According to the New York Times, it was here in May 2016 that a young Trump campaign official called George Papadopoulos ended up drinking with Alexander Downer, then Australia's High Commissioner to the UK. Papadopoulos reportedly let slip a stunning revelation that would spur the FBI into action and would leave a black cloud hanging over Donald Trump's presidency. You see, Papadopoulos had gotten to know a man called Joseph Mifsud, a Maltese academic with Russian connections. Both men lived here in London, and they met up in mid-March 2016. According to court papers, Mifsud told Papadopoulos that Russia had dirt on Hillary Clinton, who was the firm favourite to win the US presidential election at the time. The dirt in question? Emails from top Democrats close to Clinton. When Papadopoulos and Downer were enjoying some drinks, the Trump campaign official told the Australian diplomat about the emails and Russia's involvement. Downer then passed on the information to US officials. Soon after, the FBI opened up an investigation. Then, a few months later, thousands of emails belonging to Hillary Clinton's staff did indeed emerge, dumped by WikiLeaks. And it later came out that senior Democrats' accounts had been hacked only a few days before Papadopoulos had learned about the Hillary email cache. Under questioning, he lied to federal investigators about his contact with Mifsud. In fact, he now admits he was working for Trump when he met the academic. Papadopoulos knew the professor had connections with the Russian government. He was trying to use Mifsud's contacts to set up a meeting with the Trump campaign and Russian government officials, although Mifsud denies any wrongdoing. So what's the bigger picture? There are huge unanswered questions about Russia's involvement in hacking and other illegal activities, about whether Russia helped Trump win the US election, and about whether the Trump campaign knowingly accepted help from a foreign power to make him president. Answering these questions is the job of the FBI, and the Mueller investigation is enormous in scope. You see, the meeting between Papadopoulos and Mifsud was far from the only time a Trump staffer had met with somebody with high-level connections in Moscow. So what else do we know about the Trump-Russia connections? Like Papadopoulos, Trump's first national security advisor, Michael Flynn, has also admitted to lying to the FBI about the details of his contacts with Russians. In Flynn's case, he lied about conversations he had with the Russian ambassador to the US. Then there's Rick Gates, Trump's deputy campaign manager. He also says he made false statements to the FBI. Gates was accused of trying to hide lobbying work he'd done for pro-Russian politicians in Ukraine. So what are the other accusations? A number of other key players in the Trump team have been asked to account for their contacts with Russian officials. They haven't been charged with any crimes and denied doing anything wrong. Trump's son Donald Jr., his son-in-law Jared Kushner and others met a Russian lawyer at Trump Tower after being told that she had information that would incriminate Hillary. So what about the MI6 connection? Perhaps the most explosive allegations against Trump are in this dossier compiled by former British spy Christopher Steele. The dossier claims that Russia had been cultivating and helping Trump for years before the election, and that Moscow has blackmail material on the American president. Donald Trump has said the document is fake, and that there was no collusion between his circle and the Russians. He's called the whole investigation a witch hunt. So what happens next for Trump? The US media suggests the president could be under pressure to give evidence personally to investigators. He said he'd be happy to answer questions, but it's unclear whether he could be forced to go on record. Trump has also dropped hints in tweets that he might intervene to stop the investigation altogether. This would leave him open to allegations of obstruction of justice. Amazing to think it could have all started over a few drinks in a bar in London and could end with the downfall of a sitting president. The Mueller investigation is so enormous it's really difficult to keep track of who's who, so you should definitely check out Trump Cards, our essential guide to the key players. The link to that is in the description. You can also watch the rest of our films on Trump and Russia right here on the channel.